Hey, I got 2 packages in the mail today, y'all. This guy says, "Hey, Limp, here's the drawing for my son here's the drawing my son's has made for you. I'm still trying to get him to let me take a picture to send." I don't got my glasses on. Okay, that's about it. That he sent me his address. It's Noel, and it's the update on them military uniforms, and I do believe it's Noel Jr. I believe his name is Noel too. But anyway, he sent me a picture. It says 5 Nights at Freddy's, and I really tells me to turn it over. He's really creative because he gave me the picture on this side and colored it in, and then he outlined it on the other side. And the details on this picture, I mean, I gotta hand it to the young man. He can draw really well. He's autistic, man. He's so detailed with his drawings. He said, "Thank you, Limpy, for the camo. It's really cool. When you get this, can you put it on the video so I know you got it? Noey." His name's Noey. I guess he goes by Noey. But anyway, and then Greg sent me a picture. He's another, I met this guy online. That was that guy I told you about that I used to work at a body shop many years ago whenever I was like 26 years old. I do remember seeing him now. I seen him take off in his Corvette one day, I believe. And he moved to Arkansas, and he's fixing to move back to the Fort Worth area. And he's gonna I can't wait to start the friendships off with this guy, man, because we know people in that body shop. You know, Kelly Holden's the guy that hung himself, and I no longer can continue the friendship with him. God bless his soul. I really wished I could have gotten here a little earlier down to the area so I could have met up with him again and maybe had a part in his life, and maybe had it. And you know, and got him to change his mind. But it's a tragedy, it really is, because he was really good at body work. The guy must have been born with a Bondo buster in his hand, because he could just bust it out. Any dent, I've seen him do it in less than 20-30 minutes, man, and only have to do it, you know, maybe 2 muds. That's it. I mean, he was good. And he was good at painting. He didn't use the gravity feed gun. He used the old Binks. In fact, he used Harbor Freight, the $35 guns, and he told me those sprayed just as good as the Binks do. In fact, you might be... he gave me that bit of advice back then. He says, you know, you might want to just buy them guns, because when they start messing up, you don't have to take them apart and fool with them. You just throw them away and go buy you another gun. So... and he did high quality paint jobs with that gun, and it was just a $35 Nesco gun, or you know what I'm talking about, the cheap guns that are, he called it the throwaway guns. And he used to have to, he told me, if you buy a Binks, man, you're gonna have to send it in sooner or later, or bust it down and mess with it. But you send it in to have it cleaned, and it costs $25-30 to have it cleaned. He says, why not just buy a new gun every time? So every time he had another paint job come up, he'd just bid that into the price, and he would shoot with that new gun, and then he would let us other fellas in the body shop use them for primer guns or whatever, and learn, you know, scuffing metal Jeeps. I had the perfect opportunity to learn there, and that's what planted that seed, along with my stepdad with the 302 Boss Mustang. Whenever I was younger, we started dismantling a 302 Boss Mustang, and he still got it in pieces. I want to go see my dad as soon as I can get the money to go down to Louisiana, and my 72 Chevy will make it. I'm going to have to go see him. I love my father. I still do, man. I hope he's watching. And I hope he understands, man, even though I threw away my whole life, man, that I really do love you, man. I really love you with all my heart. And I'm sorry if I embarrassed you in my past, and I'm sorry that I didn't live life like I should have up until, you know, my mom, his wife, passing away. My stepfather. He's the most wonderful. He was the #1 person in my life, you know, a long time. He would always get mad at me for not thinking before I did or said anything in life, and there's always consequences for your actions or what you say or do in your life. And now I understand completely where he tried to raise me right, and I didn't listen, man. He never let me go out and go to parties and stuff when I was in the house and growing up. I went wild and crazy whenever I got out of the house, and I didn't even start living my life in the wrong manners and with any addictions at all or anything until I left the house. You know what I'm saying? I left at 16 and really didn't start doing anything bad until I turned like 21 years old. And it wasn't with alcohol. It was, well, go figure. You know what I'm saying? You get in the game, you start slinging, you know, and had that car lot I told you about on the last video. And that's a word of advice there, and I don't want to get into that. That's a whole nother story. But, you know, if you want to go to the top by going and trying to live life wrong and get caught up in a game of illegal activities and pushing illegal street drugs out there, it's a way to get to the top quick, but I'm telling you, it doesn't pay. Because in the end, you'll wind up with goose egg nothing. No matter if you just try to use it for a stepping stone or what, it never works out. I'll share that story with you. Because for 8 years, man, I had all the money and everything I wanted. I didn't even have an addiction, you know what I'm saying? I was addicted to money in the beginning, and then in the end, whenever my mom passed, all I was left was a big old fat addiction. You know, through the years, I didn't constantly, after that, and I went to work, you know, and learned my lessons, but I'll share them stories with you on this channel, but not right now. But anyway, that's me sharing for the day. But before I go, I wanted to show y'all something. I was just gonna make a video of it and label it or everything, but you know, it's just one of them things, man. It's, you know, you got to combine some videos together. But look, if you take Coca-Cola and you have a roast, a rump roast, you could take Coca-Cola. Some people use beer. I don't like using beer because I don't like the way they say it don't make it taste. Beer won't make it taste funny, but I always marinate it just a little bit, just to barely cover the top of it, and then poke it with a fork and stuff, and let it sit there and marinate overnight. And then the next morning when you get up, you fill it the rest of the way up with water, and then you boil it and on low, and you let it boil for a long time. But I'm guessing that the acid in that Coke eats it. My mama taught me that it breaks down that beef and makes it to where you can't even pick it up. You can't even pick it up with a fork. I mean, it just falls apart in the pan. You don't even have to pull it apart, and it's so tender and juicy, and it gives it a little sweet taste to it. Anyway, I'll see y'all later, man, and thank you, Noey. That picture, man, I'm gonna hang it up, and I'm gonna hold it close to you. I'll hold you close to my heart, and thank you for sharing. And anyway, y'all be good, man. Lister out. I'm sorry I keep looking over here, man. I don't have a camera. I have a phone, and so I guess I need to. I must have said it in one of my other videos. I need to put a red dot on where the camera is, so I'll look at the camera because it looks like I'm talking to somebody over here when I should be talking right there, you know. Anyway, I'll see y'all later, man. Lister out.